kept seeing this topic in articles, so I wanted to dig in for us. Today, we're going to cover what people call oldest child syndrome, eldest child syndrome, and or eldest daughter syndrome, since I am one. And whether or not you are one too, you probably know one in your life, and this is interesting info to know for yourself or your loved ones, or your potential children now or in the future, or your eldest cat daughter like mine. Anyway, real quick for my new friends here, hi, I'm Julie Bethany, and I create content to empower you to live your best, most authentic life as the truest to you version of who you are. And I give you tools and resources to do that right here. And I should say, if we're not official friends yet, I'd love to keep hanging out with you. And we can do that if you, of course, subscribe to the show here and or come hang out with me where I'm most active, which is on the gram at Julie Bethany, where I share daily empowerment for you in even more bite-sized bits. Okay, nous allons continuer. Let's continue. Can you tell I want to learn French? How am I doing? 2 out of 10? Okay, great. Thanks. It's better than 1. All right, so let's talk oldest child syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. It has lots of names. Clearly, per the name, it affects oldest children in a family. And today we'll talk about what it is, why it happens, and how you can personally or encourage a friend to heal from any trauma this created in your or their lives so it doesn't keep negatively affecting you and your relationships. We'll also touch on eldest daughters too for part of this since I happen to be one. Okay, let's dive right in. I'm going to paraphrase a few great definitions and facts I came across because we're going to let the experts do the talking. A website called Choosing Therapy, great name, states that someone named Alfred Adler first studied the concept of the way birth order contributes to a lot of factors in our personality alongside environmental factors. So we're looking here at nature plus nurture, so to speak. This site shares that an oldest child is essentially subjected to early leadership expectations in their lives once their youngest siblings come around, and oftentimes more is expected of them than their youngest siblings because they're the first guinea pig their parents are naturally trying out parenting on, which creates a lot of interesting qualities in a person we coin oldest child syndrome. Alongside that, this site also lists a lot of common traits someone with eldest child syndrome would have. Check them off if you want. But they're things like being ambitious, overachieving, opinionated, responsible, domineering, etc. And I do agree with some of them for myself personally, but not all of them, to be honest. For example, this site claims that the eldest child can make a great leader, and personally, I've been in multiple management positions I really enjoyed, but on the other hand, I'm not a super domineering type of person. A good note here is that this is a nature versus nurture situation, and we all, every single one of us, have unique backgrounds that will shape who we are today, but there may be some more likely traits than not that we or your friends or those who share the similarities of all being in the same boat might share. Okay, to understand where it comes from, and we touched on it a bit already, but a site called Modern Intimacy, and I don't know, don't at me, this was the first one that popped up when I searched, has a great note on specifically eldest daughter syndrome. It says that eldest daughter syndrome, or EDS, while not an official psychiatric diagnosis, is an often unconscious family role that many young girls inherit as the oldest child, in which they find themselves doing more domestic labor, emotional caretaking, and face higher expectations than their younger siblings. If you or a loved one were an oldest child, you definitely had parents doing the best they could with what they knew, right? Which is true even for the 6th child in the Brady Bunch. The thing is, when someone is doing something for the first time, like parenting, for example, their expectations aren't based yet on what they've experienced firsthand. That comes in with later siblings because they've been a parent already. So you are the guinea pig, getting a lot of trial and error moments in parenting if you're the first child who's giving your parents that firsthand experience in parenting. Naturally. Also, I had a few guinea pigs and they're so fun. Anyway, that can create a lot of resentment for more strict ways that you were raised than even your younger siblings in the same family. For example, I paved the way for a lot of things for my incredible younger sister. I was the first one to step out and live with a partner, so it made it easier for her to have the option to do that if she wanted. And I don't regret that in the least, even though my parents really opposed it at the time because I might not have known I was not as compatible with that person in a romantic relationship as I thought, unless I did live with them. Raise your hands if that's you too. If I had just gotten married to that person, for example, without living with them, that would have been a sure recipe for a divorce. And there were other things too, but I had to work harder essentially for my independence. And now I have a hyper independence issue. I come back consistently because of it, which you can also learn more about in episode 33 of the show. And there's a short and a long version for your convenience, depending on the time you have to dive in on that one. So we do have to be aware of the downfalls of our past and things like being a firstborn like this in order to understand that where we come from and how we were raised and the order we were born in isn't our fault, but it is our responsibility to heal and create better futures for ourselves with that knowledge, right? Where we come from doesn't have to negatively impact where we're going if we don't let it. So how do we do that though? Well, there's interesting research that shows that focusing on your weaknesses, especially at work, but anywhere, is slightly a lost cause. Now, let me explain, lest you think I think there's no such thing as improvement, because there is. But let me illustrate this in another way. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm good at ideating, if I can speak. I'm good at ideating, writing, and I would like to think speaking and teaching, but you can be the judge of that. And I like those things a lot. The things, though, that I don't like as much and I've forced myself to be okay with due to the nature of the content I produce for you are everything that editing encompasses. I just don't like it. I don't like editing out mic pops for hours. Cheers. I don't like how tedious it is to edit clips. It's a long process and I've forced myself to be okay with it so I can keep doing the things I'm really good at and really enjoy. But when I can hire employee number one, or maybe I'm employee number one and they're employee number two, I don't know. Let me know in the comments or something if you do know. But anyway, editing, as it's not my strong suit, will likely be what that person will do in order to free up my time for me being able to do more of what I love to do and am good at. And we tend to love doing the things we're gifted in, which is really interesting. And thus, research shows that instead of focusing on strengthening our weaknesses in things like careers, we should spend more time focusing on strengthening our strengths, because that's how we really excel. Yes, we can and should improve where we need to, of course, but we get so much further leaning into our strengths and our weaknesses, and we're much happier when we do that. So firstborn, oldest, eldest, etc., sibling, child, daughter, etc., syndrome creates some unique strengths too that we can use and really lean on in ourselves or when utilizing a friend or colleague in teamwork. For example, again, this is totally nature and nurture related, but you may make a great leader and this may come more naturally to you if you are the oldest sibling in your family. Or maybe you're not, but you have a friend or a partner who is the eldest sibling and they're not feeling fulfilled. And maybe a leadership role would help and you could run that by them and see if they resonate with it. That's something for me. I love having direct reports. You also may have a high achiever and be very ambitious. These are great things when used in moderation. Like we would have the dark side of that too, though, right? Like in anything where we could be more subject to burnout. But we have great potential to do great things if that's a natural strength we have. And wherever you are in your birth order or wherever your friends are, or even if it's something where you're maybe an only child, it's good to note that this can create tendencies at least for you to be aware of in your life. And it's good to note too that you're not alone in that experience. A lot of people will naturally fall into the same category that you do, and you can lean on them to grow together. So this is just an overview today, and I recommend exploring the topic more after this gist I gave today if you're interested or think you or a loved one is especially impacted by it, because it's just good to know regardless. But let us take this out of today. If you consider what your natural strengths and weaknesses are and can find ways to make your weaknesses livable, whether by making them passable and or delegating tasks you're weaker in to others, while really taking the time to find out and strengthen your strengths, which are likely to be your passions and or things you like since you're good at them, you can make a ton of headway toward whatever success looks like to you. That's a winning strategy. Delegate or make passable your weaknesses and keep building on your strengths and what comes naturally to you. And you will achieve much more, much faster, and with much less stress, all of the things that you want to. But we must know thyself in order to do that, and Eldest Child Syndrome might play a role, so it's good to know about it and how it or birth order in general affects us so we can work with it instead of it working against us. Knowledge is power, friends. Okay, I think we did it. We came, we saw, we learned, and now we can go out into the world with this newfound knowledge and learn even more if we want to. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I cannot wait to see all you do and accomplish, and I hope you feel empowered to really step into who you authentically are and see that understanding and being your authentic self is your greatest strength and strategy to achieving the life of your dreams. And I do have a little gift for you today, which is a free mini course on how to plan and achieve those dreams you have, especially if you're feeling kind of stuck right now. We've all been there. And you can find it at juliebethany.com/courses, and I'll link the trailer here if you want to watch it. I also have a full-length course on the same topic, and I'll cover that too. All right, I'll see you next time, and be sure to subscribe here and or follow along at the gram, or on the gram rather, at Julie Bethany if you want to keep hanging out, because I would love to. All right, I'll see you soon. I recorded 3 shows in a row today, so she's really tired of me picking her up to show her to you. Say hi. Meow. Meow. Nothing. She's over it. Oh. Missed it. All right, have a good day, everyone. I interrupt myself for this very important announcement. You're so welcome. I am beyond excited to share with you that I have a free mini course you can take right now, but also maybe wait until after you finish this episode, but to each their own. I'm not going to stop you from doing you. But the course is about helping you get unstuck and re-inspired if you feel like you're in a place, like a lot of us do often, honestly, where you just don't know what you want next for your life, or if you do, how to get it. The mini course includes 10 quick minutes of me sharing strategies to help you get unstuck and re-inspired, and comes with a complimentary 1-page journal entry you can download for you to work through what you want for your life and how to create the momentum to get what you want next for yourself in the easiest and fastest way possible. And you'll take away actionable items you can apply right away. And as a bonus, after the initial course, if you still left wanting more, I'll tell you about my full-length version of that course that will walk you through creating a goal and a plan to achieve it in order to get you closer to the life of your dreams you want to be living, and the exact steps to do that over the next 3 months. I will hold your lovely hands in mine and guide you toward figuring out what you want and then how to get it efficiently if you want to take it a step further. I shall run the marathon with you after the sprint so that in 3 months you will have achieved something you really want in your life. All good things take time, so for the sake of the best version of yourself and the life you could be living 3 months from now, which will fly by, you don't need to put off your dreams any longer. You deserve to live the life of your dreams as soon as possible, because why not? So let's start today. I'm ready. Are you? To check it out and get the free mini course so you can apply the tools to improve your life right away, and or to learn more about the full-length course about going from stuck to re-inspired and really crushing a massive goal in only 3 months' time with me, the links are included with this episode. I can't wait to see what you create for your life with it. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming.